Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Business Mathematics. We are now at our 15th week. And for week 15, our topic is about compound interest. So for this week, we will define simple interest. We will also determine the amount of interest, principal, and future value. Also find the nominal rate and applied on investment and calculate the term of an investment. So this week's topic is a continuation from our week 14. So once again, I will show you a video discussion prepared by Miss April Belaras. So let's go to her video.
Hello everyone, good afternoon and welcome back to our online class for our subject Business Mathematics. And I'm still your teacher for this subject, April B. Villaras. Okay, and here is my email and my phone number. Okay, so just ask me or you can call or text me if you have any questions regarding our weekly discussions. And yeah, we are now on our week 15 of our discussion, and we're going to discuss for this week about compound interest. Okay, so we are already done about simple interest. Okay, so we are now on compound interest. So what are the things that we're going to learn about interest? Okay, compound interest. All right. So what is compound interest? Okay. What is compound interest? So if you walk into a bank and open up a savings account, you will earn interest on the money you deposit in the bank. Okay? So, yun yun. And if the interest is calculated once a year, then the interest is called simple interest. Okay? Simple interest yan. Once a year. Ayan. And if the interest is calculated more than once per year, then it is called compound interest. Okay? So, huwag niyo iisipin na pag nag-deposit kayo ng pera sa bangko, wala kayong, matutulog lang doon. Okay? So, meron naman kayong ma-earn na interest kasi gagamitin ng mga bangko yung mga pera na dinedeposit ng mga tao. So, may babalik sa'yo na interest. Pero simple at compound yon. Nakadepende yon kung once a year is simple interest. It is calculated at simple interest. Pag more than once per year, that is compound. Okay? Now, why does compound interest matter? Why does it matter? Okay? So, compound interest earned on money that was previously earned as interest. Okay? So, compound interest causes interest and account balances to grow. That's why it matters. And good for savings and investments. Okay? What can work against you in paying interest on a loan? Ayan. So, pero kahit nag-deposit kayo, pero nilo-loan nyo rin naman, ayan, babalik din yung interest. Frequency, time, interest rate, deposits, and the starting amount all make compound interest powerful. That's why compound interest matter. Okay? So, importante din ang compound interest. So, dapat wise din tayo sa pagde-deposit ng mga pera sa mga bank. Okay? Another one, how compound interest works. Okay? So, how does compound interest work? Okay. So, compound interest is the interest you get on. How is that? Okay, so the money you initially deposited is what we call the principal. Okay, so the interest you already earned. Yun yun. Yan, for example, if you have a savings account, you will earn interest on your initial savings and on the interest you have already earned. Okay, yun yung na-explain ko kanina. Okay? Kung ano ba ang compound interest. Okay. And to understand compound interest, So, start with the concept of simple interest. Okay, so kung naalala nyo yung simple interest, you deposit money and the bank pays you interest on your deposit. Okay, so ang halimbawa niyan, if you earn 5% annual interest, a deposit of, for example, $100, yan. So if you earn 5% annual interest, a deposit of $100 would gain you $5 after a year. Okay, after a year. So what happens the following year? That's where compounding comes in. Okay? So after 1 year, yun na yung compounding. So you will earn interest on your initial deposit and you will earn interest on the interest you just earned. Okay? So the interest your money earns the second year will be more than the year before. So mas malaki na siya doon sa previous year. Okay? So because your account balance is now 105 and not $100. Okay? So with compound interest, even if you don't make any additional deposits, your earnings will accelerate. Okay? So for year 1, halimbawa yung initial na deposit mo ay 100, it earns 5% interest or $5, bringing your balance to $105. On the second year, your $105 earns 5% interest or $5.25. So your balance now is $110.25. Okay? And in the year 3, ayan, your balance is $110.25. It earns 5% interest or 5.51. So your balance grows to 115.76 centavos. So ganon. So the interest compounded yearly. Okay? At many banks, including online banks, di ba nauso na yung mga online banks, interest compounds daily and gets added to your account monthly. So the process moves even more rapidly. And of course, if you are borrowing money, compounding works against you and in favor of your lender instead. Okay? So you pay interest on the money you've borrowed. So the following month, if you haven't paid the month or the amount you owe in full, you will owe interest on the amount you borrowed plus the interest you have accrued. Okay? So yun. And so you get interest on your interest. So save more with compound interest. Makakasave ba tayo? Makakasave ba tayo sa compound interest? Yeah, so the power of compounding helps you to save more money. Okay? So the longer you save, the more interest you earn. Alright? So, pero nababalitaan niyo ba yung mga nagrereklamo ngayon sa some bank ngayon na nagrereklamo sila kasi yung dineposit nila after 5 years nawala na. O merong ganun na bangko. Ayun. So the longer you save, the more interest yun. Kaya ano din, sa pagde-deposit sa mga bank, dapat alamin nyo rin kung ano ba yung bank na yun, kung okay ba siya o hindi. Di ba? Yun. So start as soon as you can and save regularly. Hindi yung bukas na lang, tapos bukas, sasabihin mo bukas na lang ulit. O, tapos kinabukasan na naman, next week na lang or next year, ganun. So kailan mo pa sisimulan, di ba? Ayun. So for emergency rin yan, kaya mag-save na kayo. Okay? Kahit estudyante, kung halimbawa, malaki-laki yung mga binibigay na allowances sa inyo, ayun, magtabi. Nakakatulong na rin kayo, not just to your family, but of course to your studies na rin. Okay? It's not your responsibility, but it is your some parts of your obligations, hindi lang sa sarili ninyo din, di ba? Yun, ganun. Napa-advise tuloy. So, start as soon as you can and save regularly. Okay? So, you will earn a lot more than if you try to catch up later. O, yan yung sinasabi ko. So, mag-ipon ka na ngayon, simulan mo na ngayon na. Ganun yun. Okay? So, for example, ito yung example ko kanina. If you put $10,000 into a savings account with 3% interest compounded monthly, so ano yung mga maiipon mo dyan? So after 5 years, you'd have $11,616. So magkano yung na-earn mo? $13,616 in interest. O, after 10 years, 13. O, $13,000 na siya yung 10,000 mo. So, yung naipon mo dyan after 10 years is 3,000. Isipin mong maliit, 10 taon, pero wala kang mapupulot na ganyan kahit kahit kalkalin mo pa yung buong paligid, 'di ba? Yan, kahit ikutin mo yung buong kalsada o yung buong street ninyo, ganyan. And after 20 years, no, naka-earn ka na ng $18,208. So, magkano yung na-earn mo dyan? $8,208. Okay? So, ganon. Or if not, mag-invest ka sa isang business. Okay? Yun, kung ayaw mo yung matagalan, kung gusto mo yung mabilisan, tapos, of course naman, there is effort. Okay? Effort and everything. Kung gusto mo talagang umasenso. Alright. So, what makes compound interest powerful? Oh, what makes it powerful? So, compounding happens when interest is paid repeatedly. Okay? When interest is paid repeatedly. So, the first 1 or 2 cycles are not especially impressive, but things start to pick up after you add interest over and over again. So, ganun naman yun. Ayan. So, we have frequency. The frequency of compounding matters. So it matters. Okay, more frequent compounding periods, okay, for example, daily, have more dramatic results. Okay, so when opening a savings account, look for accounts that compound daily. Okay, hindi lang yung nag-saving, nag-open ka lang ng savings account tapos hindi mo naman alam kung paano yun makakaipon or paano yun makaka-earn ng pera, di ba? So, look for accounts that compound daily. Okay? So, you might only see interest payments added to your account monthly, but calculations can still be done daily. Okay? So, kaya importante na marunong din kayong mag-compute. Not just simple interest, but also compound interest. Okay? Kasi madami ngayong naloloko o madaming manloloko. Kaya dapat marami din tayong alam. Okay? And some accounts only calculate interest monthly or annually. Okay? So that's frequency. Another one is time. Gaano naman ka-powerful ang time sa compound interest? Okay? So it is more dramatic over long periods. So again, you've got a higher number of calculations or credits to the account when money is left alone to grow. Okay? Yan ang time. And then the interest rate is also important factor in your account balance over time. So, importante din yung interest rate. So, dapat alam nyo rin kung paano siya i-compute. Okay? So, higher rate means an account will grow more rapidly but compound interest can overcome a lower rate. Okay? So, it can overcome a lower rate. Yan ay kung bawasan natin ang pangapaglo-loan, gano'n. Pag-emergency lang. So, especially over long periods, an account compounding at a lower rate can end up with a higher balance than an account using a simple calculation. And the other one is deposits. So, withdrawals and deposits can also affect your account balance. Okay. Ito rin yung isang problema, kapag alang naiisip yung may laman pa yung ATM ko, may laman pa yung may pera pa ako sa bangko. Yun, tapos andyan na yung mga temptations, tapos ayan, withdrawal, hanggang sa naubos na, nga ka na after. Diba? So, it also affect your account balance. So, letting your money grow or regularly adding new deposits to your account will work best than withdrawing. Diba? So, kailangan yung nasa isip natin, yung goal natin is kung ano ba talaga yung need, hindi yung want, 'di ba? Ayan. Nowadays kasi kung ano yung wants, yun yung mas pina-priority, 'di ba? Aminin niyo. Okay? So, if you withdraw your earnings, you dampen the effect of compounding. Okay? So, starting amount, the amount of money you start with does not affect compounding. Okay? So, whether you start with $100 or $1 million, compounding works the same way. Okay? So, it does not affect compounding. So it's best to focus on percentages and time when planning for your future. Okay, so have you started planning for your future already? Ayan. So, what rate will you earn and for how long? So, the dollars are just a result of your rate and time frame. Okay. Now, we have the compound interest formula. Ayan. So, paano ba? So, we have, so these factors, ayan. So, to solve compound interest problems, we need to take the given information. Okay? Wait lang pala. Mamaya. Ayan. So, mathematical formula for calculating compound interest depends on several factors, right? So, these factors include the amount of money deposited, which is what we call as the principal, the annual interest rate in decimal form, the number of times the money is compounded per year, and the number of years the money is left in the bank. Okay? So, these factors lead to the formula of FB equals to ayan, P times the quantity of 1 plus the ratio of R over N raised to NT. Okay? Where FB is our future value of the deposit, P is the principal or amount of money deposited, R is the annual interest rate. Okay, it should be in decimal form. And number of times compounded per year, and time in years. Okay? So, solving compound interest problems, to solve these interest problems, we need to take this information, okay, at plug, okay, the information into the compound interest formula and solve for the missing variable. So the method used to solve the problem will depend on what we are trying to find, okay? So if we are solving for the time, which is t, then we will need to use logarithms because the compound interest formula is an exponential equation, and solving exponential equations with different bases requires the use of logarithms. Okay? For halimbawang time yung hahanapin natin. So how are we going to calculate? So we can calculate compound interest in several ways. Okay, so learning how to do it yourself can give you valuable insight into how you can reach your savings goals while keeping realistic expectations. So anytime you run your calculations, examine a few what if, okay, scenarios. Yan. So kailangan i-examine ninyo yung mga what if scenarios using different numbers and see what would happen if you were to save a little more or earn interest for a few years longer. Okay? Ayan. All right, so let us have some examples in solving compound interest problems. Okay? Ayan. So, example number 1. If you deposit, so we will use dollars in our examples, okay? So, nagsawa na tayo sa peso. So, kailangan dollar ang gamitin natin ngayon. Para naman, medyo yayamanin. Diba? So if you deposit $4,000 into an account paying 6% annual interest compounded quarterly, how much money will be in the account after 5 years? Okay, ayan, after 5 years. So magkano daw yung pera mo, okay? Which you deposited for 1,000 and then 6% yung interest compounded quarterly. Okay, so we're going to use the formula that I have posted, that I have shown you earlier. So FB, the future value, which is equal to P, the principal, times 1 plus R, yung rate natin, annual interest rate, over N, the number of times compounded per year. Okay, raised to N times T yung time. Okay, so just plug in the given information wherein The P or the principal is 4,000 times, ayan, so 1 plus yung, masyado man namang malaki yata yun. Okay, ayan, so yung rate dyan is, since 6%, it should be in a decimal form, so this is 0.06, okay? Then we have the number of times, or yes, compounded per year. So, quarterly siya, kaya 4 na beses. Okay? And this is 4 times 5. Yung time natin ay 5. Okay? So, calculate. So, this is now equal to 4,000 times. So, the value of this one is now equal to 1.015 raised to 20. Okay? So, 20 yung value niyan. And this is equal now to 4,000. So, yung value nito is equal to 1.346855007. So, the future value is 5,387 and sorry. Yeah, so we have to round our final answer here. Okay, so after 5 years, there will be how much? Ayan, so ayan, after 5 years, so there will be $5,387.42 in the account. Okay? Maintindihan natin. Okay, so yan. That is after 5 years, ha? Okay, so let us have another example para mas maintindihan natin ang compound interest. Lalo na kapag nag-deposit kayo ng pera sa bangko, compounded. Okay? Anyway, so if you deposit $6,500 into an account paying 8% annual interest compounded monthly, how much money will be in the account after 7 years? Okay? You are paying, so the deposit, your money that is deposited in the bank, paying 8% annual interest, and that is monthly, compounded monthly. Okay, so magkano yung pera na dineposit mo after 7 years? Okay, so ayan, para mas maayos, identify muna natin yung mga given. So we have the principal, which is 6,500. Another one is the annual interest rate. Annual interest rate is 8%, or this is 0.08. Okay, and then the number of times compounding, or yeah, number of times compounded per year is 12. Bakit 12? Kasi nga it is monthly, and there are 12 months in a year. And then the number of years or time in years is 7. Okay, so we're going to plug in the given information, or yes, into our formula. Okay, so yung formula natin in ito. Okay, so P is 6,500 times 1 plus the rate is 0.08 over 12. Okay, raised to 12 times 7. Malaki. So this is now equal to 6,500 times 1.0066666. Anim na 6. Raised to 84. Okay? Yeah. 12 times 7 is 84. So, tuloy lang natin yung calculation natin. So, get the value of this one. This is 1.7474222051. So, what is the product? What is 11,358.24. Okay, so therefore, after 7 years, okay, after 7 years, there will be $11,358.24 in the account. Okay, in the account. Next, how much money would you need to deposit today at 9% annual interest compounded monthly to have $12,000 in the account after 6 years? Okay? O, yan. So, magkano daw yung kailangan mong i-deposit? Okay? So, magkano daw yung kailangan mong i-deposit na ang annual interest ay 9% monthly, compounded monthly, para ma-accumulate mo yung $12,000 in the account after 6 years. So, let us identify first our given. So, yung given natin dyan is yung future value na 12,000. And then, what else? The annual interest rate na 9%, or this is 0.09. The number of compoundings, this is N, number of compoundings, 12 per year kasi monthly. And then time in years is 6. Okay. So yung hinahanap natin dito ay yung principal. Alright? So from our formula, all we have to do is to substitute. So this is 12,000. Missing si P. Okay, so 1 plus 0.09 over 12 raised to 12 times 6. Ayan. So 12,000 equals to P times 1.0075 raised to 72. Okay, so the product of 12 and 6 is 72. Next is, so 12,000 is equal now to P times 1.712552,707. So, lagay lahat natin yung digits, okay? So, the principal now is equal to 7,007 and 0.08. Okay? Okay? So, ayan. So, you would need, so magkano yung kailangan niya? So, you would need, $7,007.08, okay, to have, and 0.08 cents to have, ayan, to have or to accumulate the $12,000 in 6 years. Okay, so paano natin nakuha yung 7,000? Dinivide lang natin ito ng 1 point something. Okay? Yun. Intindihan? Para makuha natin si P. So this is 1. So you would need to deposit $7,007.08. Okay? Just to accumulate or to have $12,000 in the account. So there. Let us have another example. So for our examples, a while ago, yung tatlo nating examples, so we solve for either the future value or the principal. And when solving for the principal and future value, it's mostly a calculator exercise. Okay? So pwede namang mano-mano kung mabilis-bilis tayo. So, ayun. And in our next example, So, we will be solving for time. So, when solving for time, nun yung nabanggit ko kanina, we will need to solve exponential equations with different bases. So, remember that to solve exponential equations with different bases, so we will need to take the common logarithm or natural logarithm of each side. So, taking the logarithm of each side will allow us to use property 5 and rewrite the problem as a multiplication problem. So once the problem is rewritten as a multiplication problem, we should be able to solve the problem. Like number 4 example. If you deposit into an account paying 6% annual interest compounded monthly, how long until there is $8,000 in the account? Okay, so how long? Ibig sabihin, we are looking for time. So, gaano siya katagal? So, ilang taon? Ilang taon? So, bago yan, identify muna natin yung mga given informations for us to plug in the formula. So, we have the future value of 8,000 and the principal is 5,000. We have the annual interest rate of 6% or 0.06. And we have the number of times compounded per year, which is, since it is monthly, so 12 times. Okay, so from our formula, if V is equal to P times 1 plus R over N P. Okay, just plug in the given information. So we have 8,000 equals to 5,000 times 1 plus the annual interest rate is 0.06 over 12. 12 times yung T. Missing yung T, yung time. Ayan. So, we have to use the order or operations to simplify the problems. Okay, so to simplify this one, so we have to use the order or operations. So keep as many decimals as possible until the final step, right? So this is 8,000 equals to 5,000 times 1.005 raised to 12t. Ayan. And then divide each side by 5,000. Okay? So since we're going to divide each side by 5,000, so this is now equal to 1.6 equals to 1.005 raised to 12 times t. Okay? And as mentioned earlier, we have to take the logarithm of each side. Okay? Then use the property 5 to rewrite the problem as multiplication. Okay? So, tuloy natin dito. So, logarithm 1.6 equals to logarithm. Ayan. So, 1.005 raised to 12t yun, ha? Ayan. So, this is now equal to logarithm of 1.6 equals to 12t, di ba? So, we take out the exponential form, gawin natin, ibaba natin siya. So, kung naalala nyo yung mga discussion natin tungkol dito, ayan, so 1.005 na siya. Okay? Ayan, para hindi siya magulungan. And then, para matanggal natin ito, divide both sides, okay? So, we have to divide both by logarithm of 1.005 dito rin sa kabila. Yun. So, this is logarithm of 1.6 over logarithm of 1.005. And this is equal to 12t. Okay? So, you can use now your calculator. So, this is equal to So this is now equal to 94.23, 55, 32, 32. Almost equal to 12T. Okay? So, yung time natin dito is equal now to, yeah, it's almost equal siya, 7.9. Okay? 7.9. So, it will take approximately 7.9 years, okay? 7.9 years for the account to go from 5,000, okay? From 5,000 to 8,000. Ayan. So you will need ayan, almost 8 years. Almost 8 years para ma-accumulate mo yung 8,000 sa account. Okay, paying 6% annual interest compounded monthly if you deposit $5,000 in your account. Okay? Another example, if you deposit $8,000 into an account paying 7% annual interest compounded quarterly, so how long until there is $12,400 in the account? So we have the same procedure as in example 4. Identify muna natin yung mga given. So we have the following given, the future value. So para ma-accumulate daw natin si 12,400 by depositing our principal na 8,000, paying our annual interest rate of 7%. Okay, with number of times compounded per year is 4 kasi nga quarterly, so 4 na beses. Okay, so plug in this informations into our formula. Okay. So this is 12,400. This is 8,000 times 1 plus 0.07 over 4. 4 times T. Okay? And then calculate natin. So this is 12,400 equals to 8,000 times the value of this one inside the parentheses, which is equal to 1.0175 raised to 4T. Okay? So we use the order of operations to simplify the problem. Okay, and then divide each side by 8,000. Okay? So, para matira ito, divide each side by 8,000. Ayan. Wala na yan. So, this is equal to 1.55 equals to 1.0175 or raised to 4t. Okay, so take again the logarithm of each side. Then use the property 5 to rewrite the problem. Okay, as multiplication. So, this is logarithm 1.55 equals to okay. So, tuloy natin dito. So, using the property 5, so log 1.55 equals to 4t times log 1.0175 4t. Okay? Okay? Wait lang. Sorry, nababa na pala natin. Right? So, ayan. Next is divide each side by logarithm. So, divide natin ito ng logarithm 1.0175 and dito rin. Okay, so just divide both of our equation. So, may iwan na si 40. Alright, so this is now log 1.55 over log 1.0175 equals to 40. Okay, so this is 25.261 63279, which is almost equal to 40. Okay? So, hindi pa dyan nagtatapos. So, finish solving the problem by dividing each side by 4. Okay? So, divide each side by 4. Parang yung sa kanina. Para matira yung t. So, t is, yan, is equal to, or almost equal to 6.3. So, yan na yung time natin. So, yan yung time na kailangan mo. Okay? So, that is your time that you need just to accumulate $12,400 in the account. If you deposit 8,000 into your account, paying 7% annual interest, compounded quarterly. Okay, so 6.3 years. Yun. So approximately, it will take you approximately 6.3 years. Okay. Okay. So let us have our last example for compounding interest. So at 3% annual interest compounded monthly, how long will it take to double your money? Ano, how long? Masasagot mo ba yung problem na yan with the only given 3% annual interest rate? Okay. So it seems that this problem cannot be solved kasi nga we do not have enough information, right? But it can be solved as long as you double whatever amount you start with. So if we start with $100, then P is $100. Halimbawa, we start with $100. Ay, wait. Bakit peso? Ayan. So if we start with $1 or $100, so yung principal, ay bakit? Sorry. Ulit-ulit. So yung magiging principal natin is $100. Okay? And the future value is $200. Okay? So ayan. So given na yung annual interest rate natin na 3% or this is 0.03 with the number of times compounded per year. So annual interest compounded monthly kaya 12. Okay? Ayan. So dalawa pala yung given. So since incomplete, so if we start with $100, okay, then P is $100 and the future value is 200. So if we're going to plug this informations into our formula, always practice to write yung equation o yung mga formulas natin para mas madali na lang sa pagsusolve. Alright? So this is 200 and this is 100 times 1 plus 0.03 over 12 raised to 12 times t. Okay, di ba? So this is now equal to 200 equals to 100 times 1.0025 raised to 12t. Okay, so yan. So we already use the operations to simplify the problem. So always keep as many decimals as possible until the final step. Okay, so wag mag-iiwan. Then, para matira ito, divide both of the equation by 100. So this is now equal to 2 equals to, wala na yan, so 1.0025512t. Diba? And then take the logarithm of each side, then use property 5 to rewrite the problem as multiplication. So we have log 2 equals to log 1.0025512t. Alright? And then, so ganyan yung mangyayari dyan. And then take or use property 5 to rewrite the problem. So this is now log 2 equals to 12t log 1.0025. Okay? So divide each side by log. So divide na natin ito, both of our equation by log 1.0025 and then log 1.0025. Okay? Yeah. So natira na si 12t. So pwede naman siyang iikot. So log 2 and then log 1.0025. Okay? Yun. So, what is the value of this one? So, pwede naman ganyan pa rin. So, 277.6053.016. Okay? So, divide both by 12. Ayan, para makuha natin yung value ng time. So, excuse me. So, this is now almost equal or approximately equal to 23.1. Okay? So, ito yung kailangan mo. 23.1 years to double your money. Okay? There. Yan. So, at 3% annual interest rate, it will take approximately 23.1 years to double your money. Okay? Just to double your money. Okay. So, naintindihan? So, that is about compound interest.
So for your activity, required activity, answer the word problem. We have 5 items. So kindly submit it as well. So let's go back to our discussion. So once again, we have discussed compound interest and define simple interest as well. Determine the amount of interest, principal, and future value. So thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, Miss April, for the video discussion. God bless.